Have you ever heard of a town where men speak different languages from women? This is the story of Ubang, a village located in the southern part of Nigeria, Cross River State to be precise. In this village, men speak different languages from women and they understand themselves perfectly. Generally, the difference between a man and a woman all over the world is their sexes, but in Ubang, a rural community in southern Nigeria, it is more than that. In the farming community located between two mountains in Obudu local government area of Cross River State, Nigeria, men and women speak different languages and they understand each other perfectly. Numbering more than 5,000, inhabitants actually noted that words from the two languages were given by God, and no one language is superior to the other. Boys grow up speaking the female language, probably because they spend most of their childhood with their mothers, but by the age of 10, they are expected to be able to speak the language of men. There is a stage the male will reach and he discovers he is not using his rightful language. Nobody will tell him he should change to the male language. When he begins to speak the men's language, you know that maturity is actually coming in. The village Ubang is made up of 3 villages, Ekwesin, Ofambe and Okiro. And according to elders of the land, if a child does not move to the correct language by a certain age, they are considered abnormal. But what brought about this uniqueness in the language that they are so proud of? According to the elders, God created Adam and Eve and they were Ubang people. They also noted that the plan of God was to allocate each ethnic group 2 languages. However, after creating the 2 languages for Ubang, he found that there were not much languages to go around, so he stopped right there. That's why Ubang has the benefit of 2 languages. According to inhabitants, they are different from other people in the world. Another story has it that God descended on one of the mountains of Okiro village and stood on the rock at the top of the mountain to distribute languages. And according to them, God started distributing the languages from Ubang, and his footprint is still etched on that rock till today, according to them. It was after God had distributed the languages to the men and women of Ubang that he discovered that the languages would not go around the communities if he continued to give each for both sexes, and so he decided to give the other communities one language for both sexes. Words used by inhabitants to date are completely different. They do not sound alike and do not have the same letters. Interestingly, for instance, men call stones okai, while women call it koka. Men call water amye, while women call it banu. And yam is called iri by men, but it is ketum for women. This is one of the most fascinating dual-sex culture of all time. Men and women operate in almost 2 separate spheres. It's like they are in separate worlds, but sometimes those words come together and you see the pattern in the language as well. Because in Nigeria there are a lot of dual-sex systems and yet they don't have this kind of language cultures. The Uban community, which is mostly Christian with an interest in cocoa farming, has no plans of merging the 2 languages until God comes down to direct otherwise. Elders in the community are very optimistic that the language will survive despite the rise in the use of the English language among the community young people who are expected to pass their mother tongues down to their children. In schools in Ubang, students are forced to speak English instead of their native languages. The fear is that the Ubang language may disappear as with other indigenous African languages that are on the verge of extinction. Recent studies have shown a steady decline in the use of indigenous African languages, and there are fears that most African countries will soon start speaking English as their first and perhaps the only language, leading to a loss of culture and identity. It is therefore very important for countries to recognize, protect, and promote indigenous languages through legislations, policies, and other strategies in full cooperation with indigenous people. This cultural phenomenon is particularly extraordinary as no other known culture in the world features men and women speaking different languages. Unveiling this enigma behind the linguistic divergence raises intriguing questions. How do these people coexist? How do they foster unity? How do they approach marriage and childbearing? These and many more questions have been answered by the Ubang people, as earlier explained in the video. The effort of the Ubang community will make to preserve this culture, and how long it will endure remains to be seen. However, one certainty remains. This is undeniably one of the most remarkable cultures in existence. If you find this video intriguing, Consider visiting the community someday to experience this distinctive culture firsthand. Ubang is merely a short drive from the Obudukato Ranch in Cross River State. It is an exploration worth embarking on to gain a deeper understanding of a culture where men and women speak different languages. To ensure you receive more captivating stories like this, make sure you stay connected with us on our channel. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment your thoughts so our videos can go viral. Thank you.